Hello there. Sorry about that. I was just watching a video by Drew now, where he reacts to a video by Hoser about the Sudanese civil war. The other major conflict that's going on in the world. Besides the Ukraine and the Palestine, all that stuff. Anyway, let's not focus this now. After all, this video is coming out on Christmas, so Merry Christmas. This is your Christmas present. Because, there's one consistent thing about this channel is that. What? Stop. Yeah, anyway, if there's one consistent thing about this channel, is that every Thursday, a video is uploaded. That's right. The Thursday, I upload a video about where I react to a video by a straight time animator. First it was animations, now it's Brody Animates. Meanwhile, during the weeks between those weeks, I do what I like to call a random reaction. I react to a random video in my random videos to react to playlist. Or sometimes just a video that I just feel like, reacting to out of random and all that. And, first off, I think I would like to give a warning. This is a reaction video, and as such, nothing is scripted. Which means that there's probably going to be a bit of long rambling and ranting and all of that. Yeah, you know how it is. Anyway, right. Today we're going to be reacting to a video that has caught my attention for a while now. That's right. A video by a YouTube channel I'm not the most familiar with. In fact, honestly, let's just look up for the video itself. In fact, but I seen screw that playlist. We don't need it. No. Yeah. This ought to take me to it. And this, there we go. Let's see. Can you see it? We can move it over here so you can see it. That's right. Oh boy. Well, isn't this clickbait? The Lion King 1.5. Judaism, white pride, and paranoia. And in the thumbnail we have Timon holding up the Star of David, while in the background what the text says, "Whoops, we did a fascism." Oh boy! And won't this be the most pleasant of videos? I'm sure nothing controversial is gonna be said here. This is a video about a children's movie. A animated children's movie made by Disney, where all the characters are animals. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I have absolutely no idea how this film relates to what they're saying, at least in the title and thumbnail at all. And in case I miss anything, I got it up here on YouTube because I'm way too cheap to buy Disney Plus. Oh, so I don't anybody who currently has a Disney Plus account. Plus, honestly, if you get a Disney Plus account, there's apparently there's some very questionable things in the fine print. And, just screw Disney. I don't really like Disney anymore. Yeah. So, yeah, there's that too. And, yeah. Well, let's see what else before we start. Well, I would say it is kind of odd that that uh, well that we're going to be reacting to a video that's apparently about Judaism on a Christian holiday. Also, I'm also Christian. It's funny. Despite being Christian, I have made more videos about Judaism than Christianity. Eh, bit of an odd coincidence. Okay, first, let's check out the channel here. Let's see here. What do we got? Okay, now let's. Okay, favorite. So this is the person's favorite videos. Okay. We got something talking about how the Frozen 2 soundtrack is bad. Okay, fair. We got the video we're going to be looking at today. We got a video about how the main character of The Great Gatsby is not straight, which I don't know what that's about. We got Lego Batman versus queer coding, which okay, yeah, I guess you can definitely see that makes sense. Monster University and Disability. Okay, makes sense. And okay, so this isn't too bad. It's not like they just pulling absolutely nothing. Charlie the Unicorn. Capitalism as apocalypse. What? Okay, so we got another video about capitalism. Let's see. Okay. Oh, not a lot about this. Okay. So this doesn't seem to be the worst YouTube channel. Okay, so hopefully this video isn't too bad. Hey. Alright, okay. I was thinking about, saying my opinions on the Israel versus the Israel-Palestine conflict that's going on right now. But, honestly, this video is probably going to be long enough, even without me talking about it. But actually, I believe this video might actually predate the conflict. Actually, let me see. Okay, just Israel versus Hamas war. Okay, when did the current conflict in Gaza start? Okay, 7th of October, 2023. Yep, that's the date when, Hamas decided to take hostages. And when the very I'm gonna be honest. I do not like Nahu. I didn't really like him very much even before the conflict started. And then I've I'm subscribed to a YouTube channel called TODR news. In fact, I see a couple of the channels. Not actually. Let's see. No, actually, I just. Okay, okay, it's taking a long time to. Oh, dang! No, that's not. No, that's not what I want. Right. Okay. A B C D E F G H I J. Okay. Q R S T K T. Alright, yeah. Yeah, here we go. Here's the. Yep, we got TODR Daily, TODR News, TODR EU, TLDR News Global, and the US. Wait. Yeah, they've. Okay, so. Okay, so. Uh, okay, is this channel still going? I believe they quit it. Okay, so the back. Sure, or not. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I didn't really like the US ones very much. Yeah. No, not the best, but the global one was good, and I heard about yeah, and how you before the whole conflict started, and from I heard, my opinion of him was not very good, and my opinion on him has not improved. And so yeah, honestly, I think the biggest problem when it comes to conflicts is that people try to look for the good guy. Okay, so who's the good guy here? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to most conflicts, there is no good guy. There's bad guy, and then there's the guy that's either as bad or is more bad or is absolutely horrible. I know that. I mean, like even in World War II, I mean, you can make the argument the Allies weren't exactly the best people either. I mean, they were certainly a lot better than the Axis. And the Axis, I mean, that is pure evil. But yeah, even the United States wasn't exactly the most nation. And the UK, well, the UK was a very imperialist, so that automatically makes them not exactly uh, okay. And then there's the Soviets, uh, basically just as better than Nazis. I mean, maybe slightly better than the Nazis, but not by much. So yeah. I mean, but yeah, enough talking about current day conflicts. Because, okay, let's see when this came out. So, the date July 1st, 2023. Okay, so, a bit before the current conflict. Okay, so, honestly, I guess the current fight between Israel and Hamas, isn't the most relevant to this. So, yeah. Okay. Right. This PM has been going on for a bit. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to remember to put timestamps in the video. Yeah, well, not video, description or top comment. Yeah, the description or the comment. It's in the comment that I made down below. I'll pin it and all that. Although I don't really get many comments on these videos. At least not currently, anyway. Who knows? In the future, there'll probably be a bit more comments. Hmm. Uh. Alright. Alright. Let's just do this.
So back in like 2018, I sat down.
Oh. Oh, it's a woman. Huh. No, I don't know why I assumed that it would be by a man with a annoying voice or nothing. And just one of those kind of annoying. Okay. Okay, let me just pause for a moment. Huh. It looks like the pause button isn't there. What? Why isn't there a pause button anymore? Well, I can't stop recording because that's the end of the recording. Okay, no, just wait a bit. Well, I'm going to pull up an example here. Okay. What's he called? Okay. Okay, let's see here. Is this? Okay. No, that's not. Bring it up. Okay. Right. Okay. What's the name of the channel? Okay. Yeah. There you go. That's it. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah. This guy. No, I don't know why. I guess it's the. I guess it's probably because the thumbnail and the title that would immediately make me think that somebody would, sound like.
Coonskin is one that doesn't get as much recognition as others.
Yeah, like that. A person who kind of sounds kind of annoying like that.
It's not the kind that you see gathering a cult following like Wizards or Cool World.
Whoa, I see. A bit more annoying than that. I mean, this voice isn't the worst, but it's kind of annoying, slightly, and basic kind of grating, in a way. Okay, Pablo.
Uncle Scoop. This guy is the most hated cartoon character of all time.
Yeah. I was expecting that somebody, kind of like that would be behind it or something. Other than again, I guess this guy isn't the worst. Although I didn't like his review of the Veggie Tales and all that. Yeah. Yeah. I thought that this review was just not very good.
Now this looks like something that's wholesome, cute, and has great appeal to kids.
Yeah.
Just some comedic adventures with talking vegetables, teaching kids about good eating and...
Now Jonah was a prophet of God.
Yeah, exactly. The prophet of God tells you all about good nutrition and... Wait, what?
Which means he was.
Yeah. Just clearly, honest, the fact that he immediately starts talking about that shows that he's definitely not familiar with the show and all that. I mean, honestly, that's and I'm not gonna get into that. I mean, well, we got enough nonsense to get into here. Right, but yeah. Okay, first off, okay, the content is not the YouTube comment the YouTube videos on this YouTube channel on the don't seem to be the worst. The person behind doesn't seem to be too annoying, or at least doesn't sound as annoying. So far, better than I expected. Yeah, this is gonna be a long video.
Down to rewatch The Lion King 1 and so back in like 2018, I sat down to rewatch The Lion King 1.5 with my mom, and about a quarter of the way through, she went, "Oh, so this is about Judaism."
What?
Hey, squad! Welcome to your triannual glimpse into my twisted psyche. Got a graphic novel coming out next spring about cults and rabbits, so keep your eyes peeled for updates from Twitter and your local obelisk.
Okay, never mind. Now that I've heard more of her voice, it's actually annoying, and just annoying in a female way. I wonder if she's from California. Yeah, like there's definitely something about a woman from California that, and it's just the Californian accent. Oh, then again, I guess. I guess it's not too annoying, but I don't know. Her voice seems to be the female version of the electric dragon 505, also known as Anum, as if you looked at the thumbnail of the videos I showed there or something. Just I don't know, just definitely but
Yeah, that's why these videos take so long to come out. Sorry, guys. Thank you so much for your patience. Okay, so a lot of you will probably already consider Timon.
okay, well, maybe not the female version of that guy I showed you. Yeah, I'll be better than that, but I don't know, I'm analyzing way too much. But then again, with a title like this, you're just asking to be nitpicked at.
But yeah, there's a reason the website Jew or Not Jew scores Timon a 10 on the Jewishness scale. But yeah, there will probably already consider Timon. So much for your patience. Okay, so a lot of you will probably already consider Timon Jewish. But
uh, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I think people have too much time on the internet. I mean, yeah, sure that they are definitely playing to Jewish stereotypes a little bit here. Especially in terms of the voice acting. Probably because of comedy and all that, and yeah, just definitely. And I feel like a bunch of in jokes and all that. I mean, I don't know that there is a good sizable Jewish population in Hollywood and all that. There are plenty of actors and studio executives and directors. Come from Jewish backgrounds and all that. But I mean, honestly, I feel like it shouldn't be taken too seriously at all.
yeah, there's a reason the website Jew or Not Jew scores Timon a 10 on the Jewishness scale. His canonical last name is Berkowitz.
Timon Berkowitz, you've been found guilty of
being super homo.
Ma fills the role of the
Oh
stereotypical
no. Oh no, this video is gonna be annoying.
Yiddish mama who fusses over her son to excess and will not shut up about his potential. Uncle Max shares his namesake with Uncle Max from The Sound of Music. The gay and Jewish coded family friend.
What?
And in the words of the Lion King, you know, the gay and Jewish coded family friend, in the words
You know, it's not like these that make me hate the media analysis YouTube channels and videos. Which is a shame because I really like media analysis videos and all that. No, I just can't stop watching them and all that. But then it just, I, I feel my brain melting.
of the Lion King's Broadway director, Julie Taymor. I mean, Timon and Pumbaa are borscht belt Jewish humor. And we can take this whole Jewish thing further.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you know, it makes sense to me. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's not supposed to be taken too seriously, though. I mean, it's clearly just a joke so that, you know, a bunch of, you know, people in the season decide to come up with, you know, probably because, you know, just either they are from a Jewish background or they know plenty of people from a Jewish background, and you know just have, you know, a bunch of in jokes that they, you know, think is very funny and all that, and so just, you know, let's just do some stereotypical jokes and just for the fun of it. I mean, yeah, you'll see it all over the place when it comes to Hollywood, you know, films and all that. If you look hard enough.
Timon grow up. Not the lush greenery of the Pride Lands, but the harsh desert climate described by Simone as
The pit of shame.
It should be noted that, like, you aren't supposed to read the Torah like a literal diary.
You used a metaphor on Timon? He takes things literally.
In a very condensed nutshell, God was like, here's some land for y'all. And, like, a couple of guys scouted out the area and went, Moses, we went into the land to which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Here is its fruit, but the people who live there are very powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. The land we explored.
I gotta say, she is definitely, you know, a bit educated and all that. But, you know, honestly, you know, I think I see why I don't like her voice. Is that you can definitely feel the sarcasm with every bit, and it's very sarcastic. I mean, which on one hand isn't the worst. I mean, after I am subscribed to a channel called Overly Sarcastic Productions, but I don't know. You know, I guess I don't know. I guess, you know, just her brand of sarcasm. You know, it just, I don't know. It just seems a bit grating.
Devours those living in it. All the people we saw there were of great size. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. Or these 10 guys didn't believe they could conquer the land like God promised, because their opponents were giants with fortified cities, and they were like little bugs by comparison. And God responded like, what? You don't believe I'll secure your victory? And Moses was like, okay, but like I can at least live to see the promised land, right?
The desert.
And God was like, I mean, you hit a rock 2 times, so no. And Moses was like,
Okay.
Oh no, I am not enjoying the humor here. Oh no, I am not having. Oh god, it's. Okay, it's just too. I I don't know how to describe it. But I mean, it's not even that witty. It just. It just. I don't know. It's more disrespectful than witty and all that. It's not witty sarcasm, I guess. Just. Oh, God. I don't know.
God sentences the nation of Israel to wander the desert. God sentences the nation of
I think she's. I feel like she's not as smart as she thinks she is. Clever. Yeah. That I think that's the issue. She's not as clever as she thinks she is.
Israel to wander the desert for 40 years. Now, only the next generation will earn entrance to the Promised Land, while the current generation is forced to live out the remainder of their lives in the desert. As harsh as it might sound, the journey through the desert helps shape the Jewish people into a nation, giving them a spiritual focus that prepared them for the Promised Land.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds me a bit of Dune, if you think about it, with the Fremen and all that, and how the the harshness of the turns them into fierce warriors and all that. And it is definitely kind of interesting if you think about it, the nation of Israel turns from a nation of slaves into a nation of warriors and all that within a generation. Kind of interesting. Relationship with the people who are nearest to us, and that is the way in which the wilderness teaches us to live. Why a seemingly empty place was chosen as the setting for many of the most significant events of the Torah.
Extreme conditions that make the desert the perfect teacher of community, as people are forced to rely on each other and their faith to survive. It seems to me that the Jewish people are unified throughout history.
Yeah. It's just through thing that kind of build strength and all that. So it's through trials and tribulations.
By this shared threat of oppression and displacement. You can see how such harsh, unstable conditions would give birth to a culture based around both mutual support and also suspicion. In a world that scapegoats the Jewish.
Okay, yeah, but again, it's also kind of how meerkats behave and all that. Like, it's also another way to interpret is this is how meerkats, behave. Okay, they burrow and have little lookouts to see, yeah, yeah. Of course, the paranoid, the small prey animals that rely on community to exist. I mean, well, sure, it's definitely just it's kind of Jewish in a way, but also the meerkats, and that's how these animals behave and all that.
People as a hobby, we Jews are taught to anticipate danger around every corner.
Okay, so that's why she's educated. She's a Jew who is. Alright. Okay. She's a Jewess.
Jews don't daydream because folks are after them and they gotta stay sharp, you know what I mean? They have to be there. They haven't let their minds wander since Egypt. They just stay sharp. They go, who's that? Who are you? What's that? Put that down.
Timon grows up in a closed community.
Okay, no. Now I want to watch, now I just want to watch John Mulaney instead now. I mean, at the very least, at least he's funny and all that. I mean, a bit more funny than this person.
In the middle of the day.
I am pausing a lot. I am pausing a lot here. Well, if you're a fan of this video, I'm sorry that I keep pausing and talking and rambling. But then again, hey, isn't that the point of a reaction video? To be transformative? Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that why you're here? To hear my opinions on something? But then again, I guess it is taking a while for me to say my opinions here. I don't know.
desert. Predators and harsh terrain force the meerkats underground. By necessity, the entire culture revolves around vigilance.
We have to look after each other. Our survival depends on it.
What's the point? All we do is dig so we can hide and hide so we can dig.
The Lion King 1.5 take
Yeah, it is kind of funny, but also, it's also taking inspiration from meerkats, a animal that burrows and all that. Is also, just it's just I mean, I don't know. I mean, just just taking the behavior of meerkats, and then adding slight bit of Jewishness to it, for comedy for the Jewish people in the audience, but it's not the most overt thing, because it's also supposed to appeal to a general audience as well. I don't know what I mean, at the very least, at least it's not anti-Semitic, which I was worried it might be when ever since I first saw this video get recommended in my feed one day, and decided, okay, I just put that on the watch later. And then later, I figured, okay, I will take this from my watch later playlist and put it into my random videos to react to playlist. So, yep. Okay, thankfully it's not racist yet. It might get racist later. We still haven't gotten to the white part. We got into the Jewish part. And the Paranoia part. Have yet to get to the white part and the fascism part.
this vigilance to the extreme.
But I mean, after all, we're only 4 minutes in, so we got plenty of time to get to that. Especially if I stop talking.
Don't close your eyes. Don't look away. Somebody's gonna guard us. Somebody's gonna protect us.
As a meerkat, your two career options are bunker maintenance or sentry duty. This leaves Timon the odd one out, as someone too scattered for sentry duty and, let's say, avant-garde for tunnel maintenance.
What? It's called a skylight.
Timon dreams of the light above ground, but the rest of the meerkat colony have accepted their world of darkness and fear as a product of nature's design.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
Everything the light
And then I really like the version here.
belongs to someone else. What can I say? It's nature's design.
Timon is the philosopher at odds with civic life. He preaches the merits of the world outside Plato's cave, so to speak, but the public demands he conform to their traditions. By the end of the story, Timon must learn the merits of both worlds. He starts out as a staunch tunnel hater.
I want to be where we don't have to dig tunnels and live with our heads stuck in the sand.
But by the end of the story, we see him embrace their advantages.
We're gonna need, dare I say it, tunnels. Lots of.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't see Timon's character relates to Jewishness at all, that, like, and I feel like, it's applicable to, many situations, and just many different, various different cultures and all that. Let's say, Japanese culture, for example, it's very, homogenous, very groupthink and all that, very, against individualism, kind of like how the Meerkats are very collective society and all that. Timon is a very individualistic character.
Lots of tunnels.
At first, Timon believes he doesn't need company, only a nice place under an open sky. But over time, Timon realizes the value of community.
I found a place that was beyond my wildest dreams. But it still wasn't home. Let's go home, Ma.
The fact that Timon found a place beyond his wildest dreams, but it didn't feel like home until he'd brought along his mom, uncle, and the rest of the meerkats, speaks to the fact that the philosopher needs society as much as society needs the philosopher. Timon could only lead his people to the promised land once he'd realized the value of communal support. And no, I didn't pull that promised land bit out of my ass. Oh my god. If any of this analysis has set off
Okay,
a
I mean, just... You know, I think you're overacting here. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, just...
alarm bells for you, by the way. You're not alone. I promise we'll talk about the ways Lion King meerkats are Jews. Invite some truly unfortunate conclusions about Jewish culture and, like, the nature of our religion. For now, where was I? Oh, that's right.
Okay, the pacing is fast.
The roof. Fiddler on the Roof tells the classic Jew.
Again, I'll just... okay, God, oh gosh, darn it. I lost my train of thought. Here. Okay. Yeah, just give me a second. I'll be back. Alright, so I have a feeling that he's gonna get into how this is accidentally anti-Semitic, which would explain the use of the word fascism in the thumbnail. I mean, honestly, this is the problem when you take analogies, more seriously than the people who wrote the analogy, like it's more comedy focused than natural, and the natural statement and all that, like just any reference to Judaism is more so for comedy than to be taken seriously. I mean, the film is a very comedic film. It's inherently a comedic film. No, that I mean, everything about how the film is structured is comedic. In fact, let's watch the opening scene here.
I gotta tell you, Timon, that song always gets me right here.
Yeah, Pumba. Well, enough of that.
Timon, what are you doing?
I'm fast forwarding to the part where we come in.
But Magic can't go out of order.
Au contraire, my porcine pal. I've got the remote.
But everyone's gonna get confused. We gotta go back to the beginning of the story.
We're not in the beginning of the story.
Yes, we were the whole time.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
Then why don't we tell them our story?
Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't we tell them our story?
Oh, I like the sound of that.
A little backstage tour. Take them behind the scenes for a revealing and intimate look at the story within the story.
Because what they don't know is how we really were there, even though they didn't know we were there, you know?
Yeah. Yep, like I said, very comedic, from the ground up. Honestly, I believe there's a video that kind of relates this film to I don't know if it was a play first before it was a film, but no, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern and all that. Yeah, in fact, and I'll see if I can look it up here. Okay. Okay. To help me get to it. Video say. Okay, now let's just cancel that. How about you just Rosencrantz Guildenstern are dead? Yeah, that's the title. Okay. Okay, there's a video somewhere that kind of, just sees the connection between the films. So, video essay. Alright, video essay. Well, yeah. The point is that Rosencrantz Guildenstern. It's a look at two characters that appear in the play, but are more of this of a supporting role and all that, and basically it kind of looks at what was going with them the whole time, what the main story is going on and all that. It was, of course, written centuries after the original play by William Shakespeare. But, honestly, it is an interesting relation since, as many people have stated, there's, similarities between The Lion King and Shakespeare's Hamlet. Anyway, time to get to this pretentious person. Enough listening to this pretentious fool. Let's listen to this pretentious fool.
Where was I? Oh, that's right. Fiddler on the Roof. Fiddler on the Roof tells the classic Jewish tale of Tevye, a poor Jewish milkman whose daughters collectively decide to marry men he can't stand.
I have not seen this film, but I have, heard of it. And, I have figured, it might be an interesting watch and all that, a classic film. Definitely something to see. I hope it doesn't spoil the plot. I hope she doesn't spoil it for me. Would be a bit of a shame. But then again, I guess I ought to have watched the film already. I mean, it's been out long enough.
Fiddler on the Roof is
You know, I want, you know, uh, you know what, for, since I barely, edit my videos, in fact, I don't really edit my videos at all, pretty much, but, yeah, honestly, even though I have no right to, discuss, editing and all that, I do just feel like, I just can't help but criticize the editing here. It's over edited. That's right. There's too many edits here. You can't. Like barely. Pretty much every single minute, there's at least a few clips that I just edited in because reference humor. This video is very edited.
revered for its focus on Jewish tradition, identity, and relationships, and the way those aspects clash and evolve with the times. It's like the quintessential Jewish play. So, of course, one of the songs has to appear in The Lion King 1.5.
Is this the little girl I carried? Did he grow to be so tall?
Wasn't it yesterday when they were small?
Okay, I mean, if that's what it takes to make you insane, then you weren't very sane to begin with. I mean, I don't think it's that crazy. I mean, it's a funny reference. The whole thing is a comedy. It's a comedy, gosh dang it! Stop taking it so, I mean, oh my god, when it comes to comedy, an important lesson one should learn is never take it more seriously than the person who wrote it. Because then you will go insane. I mean, yeah, you are going insane. You feel like you're going insane, that's because you are going insane, because you are insane for taking it too seriously and all that. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm not even a quarter of the way here through, and this video is already over an hour long. Oh my god, it's an hour long. What am I doing? No, I feel like my water ought to be done now. Yeah, I mean, honestly, because part of the reason why this video is already so long is because for some reason I'm not able to pause it, which, as far as I can tell, has never happened before. Don't know whether it's because it's something I've done, or whether it's an update, or whether it's just an odd glitch or something. There used to be a pause button here. I could pause the recording. I am. This video of a person going insane is making me insane. And I gotta say, this video is both better and worse than I thought it would be. I went in and I thought it would be, a racist video where some guy spouts a bunch of nonsensical nonsense. It's not. It's better than that. It's not terrible. On the other hand, my mind is melting. I have no idea what I'm doing. What am I doing?
In summary, Timon Leslie Berkowitz grows up in his tight-knit, Boston-accented community of meerkats alongside his Yiddish-speaking mother and Uncle Max, surrounded by desert and hungry predators. Timon leaves to find the home of his dreams, which becomes the literal promised land for his people. And along the way, he sings a song from Fiddler on the Roof, one of the most Jewish plays to ever Jewish, a play which revolves around the ways Jewish tradition shifts over time to accommodate the needs of new generations and the evolution of old threats. So I'm sure at this point some of you are like, well, Rab, so where does the Jewishness of The Lion King 1.5 fit into the white supremacist narrative of the other films?
What?
I have a feeling everything...
What the heck did I just hear and watch? What? Okay, so see, is this, I'm talking for the audience here, saying, so when does this narrative fit in with the white supremacist narrative of the other films? And then she begins to break a cup with her teeth. Well, for starters, I think that was a very cheap cup for it to break like that. And that she has a terrifying bite that I do not want to mess with. Either way, I do not trust this woman. I mean, she just broke one of her cups, which, seems a bit like a waste of money, and she broke like an insane person. And because she believes the other films have a white supremacist message. So now we end up in the crazy veer here. Okay, so all of this was nothing compared to what I feel like we're going to be coming up with next. Okay. Okay. I had a feeling I wasn't prepared for this video. Unfortunately, I had no idea how little I was prepared for this video. I knew I wasn't the most prepared, but oh man, I'm a bit frightened now.
I have a feeling everything's gonna be just fine. On the other hand...
The Oxford Dictionary defines white supremacy as the belief that white people constitute a superior race and should therefore dominate society, typically to the exclusion or detriment of other racial and ethnic...
Yep. Yeah, that is true. That is true. That is definitely the accurate description of white supremacy. Okay, so the white supremacist narrative of the other films. Okay, first out, what are the other films that she's talking about? I said, why did she break the cup? Why did she break the cup in such a strange manner? It makes me uncomfortable. She has made me uncomfortable. I, I am frightened and disturbed. I am quite frightened and somewhat disturbed. Quite unnerving. I'm unnerved. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Unnerved. Okay.
Groups. Now, when this dude named Charles Darwin and his friend Alfred Russel Wallace proposed a theory of evolution by natural selection.
Okay, so we're gonna get into eugenics here. I can see where this is going. We're starting with evolution. This is gonna lead to eugenics. Okay. So I see that part. So how do we get from there to the other? That's what I want to know.
As Wallace called survival of the fittest, white supremacists seized upon the theory as a cudgel to prove their superiority.
That is true. Yep, eugenics, definitely a terrible misuse of science. Not very good. Not very good at all. In fact, in my honesty, eugenics is definitely one of the most dangerous pseudo sciences out there.
The Harvard Library, since enslaved people were first brought to this superiority. In the words of the Harvard Library, since enslaved people were first brought to this country, promoters of anti-black racism and white supremacy have co-opted the authority of science to justify racial inequality. Thus emerged social Darwinism, described as the theory that individuals, groups, and peoples are subject to the same Darwinian laws of natural selection as plants and animals. Now largely discredited, social Darwinism was advocated by Herbert Spencer and others in the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
Yep, that is when it happened.
And was used to justify political conservatism, imperialism, and racism, and to discourage intervention and reform. In his paper, Social Darwinism, Scientific Racism, and the Metaphysics of Race, author Rutledge Dennis explains, Herstein and Murray assert in their work, namely the racist garbage fire known as the bell curve, that culture, intellect, and knowledge are racially determined, fixed, and hence not subject to devices of social reconstruction. Moreover, they also maintain that negative aspects of group or individual behaviors are reflections of preordained dispositions unchangeable by the group, the individual, or society. Like Sumner, they contend that any attempts to change the behaviors or improve the intellect of a given group or individual are foolish and destined to fail.
Let's see. Hurston and Murray assert in their work that culture, intellect, and knowledge are racially determined, fixed, and hence not subject to devices as reconstructed. Moreover, thus maintain the negative aspects of groups and reflection of preordained disposition and general any attempts to change the behavior. Yeah. Well, honestly, I disagree with that. I don't think our genetics determine our future. And I mean, sure, I guess to a certain extent they do, put limitations and set paths for us. So yeah, at a certain point, or it does determine our future, but only at a certain point. The rest is a mixture of societal pressures and personal choice. So, honestly, I do believe we can improve the lives of the African American community. Like, that community can prosper, it can improve. Look at Asia. It has improved and all that. Well, in some ways, in other ways, it has not improved. Honestly, honestly, if you look at the world today, and just look at history. If you study history and also study current events, you can see that mankind is actually pretty equal. If not in intelligence or society, at least in its barbarity. And I mean, sure, some human civilizations are better than others, but in the end, all groups are equally capable of barbaric actions. And everybody is equally terrible, and all that. Sure. I mean, honestly, like English society in the 16th century, while not the best and definitely have flaws, is certainly better than the society of the Aztec Empire. So yeah, in a way, the English were better than the Aztecs. But honestly, that's mostly because the English do not practice human sacrifice, especially at the same scale that the Aztecs did. So, honestly, it's only like barely better, only slightly better. And of course, there's the whole thing about, geography that also determines how a society and culture forms. I mean, after all, why people did struggle in the African jungles for centuries until the invention of modern medicine, which, helped and all that. And even then, they could, barely, maintain power in such a densely jungled area. Okay, honestly, what the heck am I even talking about? What am I talking about here? I guess guys, just the point I'm trying to make is that all people are equal. At least all racial groups, at the very least. Like every race is equal to every race. At the very least, in terms of morality. Okay, like sure, there are some physical differences, like, it's easier for a white person to get a sunburn than a black person. But white people are also, better prepared to survive colder environments more than a black person. Okay, I said that sounded a bit racist. Okay, no, forget what I said. I'm talking out of my butt here.
Intellect of a given group or individual are foolish and destined to fail. Some of you may know where I'm going with this.
Well, I am not part of that minority. That's for certain.
The Lion King opens with the song The Circle of Life, which introduces the audience to the concept of what else? The circle of life. From the day we arrive on the planet, blinking step into the sun, there's more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done. These lines establish we, the inhabitants of this world, as small and meek in the face of nature. We blink as we step into the sun, blinded by the brilliance and power of the natural world.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you can definitely, find that in pretty much every culture and all that, and various religions do, touch upon that aspect of, our insignificance compared to the grandness of creation, of the universe, of the cosmos, and whatever lies beyond that, where if there is anything that lies beyond that.
We are faced with a world so wide that there will always be stones left unturned, more to see than can ever be seen, so much beyond our reach and comprehension. The song goes on. The sun rolling high through the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round.
Yeah, very, very beautiful song. Very nice.
This segment positions the sun as a tangible force which keeps animals on the endless round. The circle of life.
Well, yeah, because that's how days work. The sun rises and it sets because, that's how days work and all that. like it affects sleep cycles and growing seasons and all of that. It's very important. I mean, that's why so many religions, why so many cultures had some form of sun worship and all that. Because the sun is very important to life and all that, both on a daily scale and an annual scale, and and to and just time in general and all that. A lot of our time is defined by the movement of the sun. Of course, it's also defined by the movement of the stars and moon as well, and the other celestial bodies. And also, it's also defined by the weather and all that, which is also affected by the sun and all that. The days get shorter, the days get longer. So yeah.
We see the circle of life compared to the sun several times throughout the Lion King films.
Yeah, okay. I still have no idea how this relates to white supremacy, but okay.
The sun, like the circle of life, works as a constant force upon the animals, one that moves by a natural fixed cycle, which we can chart but never hope to change. Note the lyrics, till we find our place on the path unwinding. Both the music and visuals of this scene establish the natural laws of this world. All the animals are beholden to a chain of natural laws called the circle of life, a system wherein each animal holds a specific place.
Yeah. Which also, kind of relates to the theme of the film, and that being, the duty of a king, of kingship, and all that. Like what a good king is supposed to do versus, what a bad king does, and all that. Like, what's the difference between a good king and a bad king? It's how they respect the balance and the sense of duty and all that. Like, Mufasa takes his duty as king seriously, while Scar does not take the duty of being a king seriously and all of that. It definitely and the surrounding environment reflects the difference between the power and all that. Like, when a good king is in charge, the land prospers. When a bad king is in charge, the land does not prosper. And honestly, you can see that in real life. Like, seriously, like it's kind of scary how much our leaders dictate how well the life of the of everybody exists is and all that. Like, just so yeah. I mean, it's definitely an important lesson and all that. So yeah, everybody has an important duty and an important role in society and in the natural world, and that we are supposed to do our duty and all that for the benefit of both ourselves and our community and all that, for the benefit of everything. Yeah, I mean that's the message of the film, basically.
Lion's place, we see, is situated at the literal top of the world, closest to the sun. The other animals' path leads them on a pilgrimage to the Pride Lands, where they then bow to the new prince. This ritual affirms the lion's place as rulers over all the other animals. But the Lion King wants us to see the circle of life as a circle, not a pyramid or a ladder, with some animals on the top and some animals on the bottom.
Everything you see exists together in a delicate...
Oh yeah, because the food cycle and all that, just that I mean that's how nature works and all that. Like, it's a ecosystem. Okay. I mean, there's reason why when I forget which national park it is. I think it was Yellowstone, but they got rid of all the wolves, but then the like deer population got too much and all that, and it started negatively affecting all the other species there, include and all that. So they ended up having to reintroduce wolves to it. Also, I do remember that. I have heard the one time where they, I think it was caribou or elk, where they introduced they put a bunch of caribou and elk on a island with no predators, and then all those elk, ended up starving to death because they ate all the plants because there was too many of them because there was no predator to keep the numbers down and all that. So, yeah, it's an important raw keystone species and all that. Every species has a place in the ecosystem, and that is essential in order for it to maintain balance. So, yeah, in a way, it is a circle, not just a pyramid, and all that. No, pyramids are more easily to be found in human societies than in nature, but of course, the thing with pyramids is, well, the structures like that, aren't the most stable and all that. I mean, there's a reason why the Bronze Age collapsed. There's a reason why, the absolutist monarchy of France fell into chaos and revolution. Because, the rulers up on top did not understand the balance that of the ecosystem. They did not understand the circle of life. They did not respect the lower class and all that enough, which led to the entire destruction of the system, which led to suffering and death for everybody involved, not just the elites, but also for the lower classes as well. A lot of people died during the French Revolution, more than there should have been. It was a very bloody and horrible ordeal, and all that. Honestly, it's definitely an example of a way where there's just like no good guys, showing up, nobody to root for. Everybody's a villain in that story, the story of the French Revolution. Like the monarchs in aren't being good. The nobility isn't good. A lot of the clergy aren't being good, especially high up, the elites aren't being very good. The leaders of the revolution aren't very good. I mean, the only person to like that's involved is Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson. The two people who helped out in the American Revolution and all that. But yeah. I mean, people the leaders of the French Revolution kind of just ignored them, and you just got focused on just killing people and all that. Just real bloody and all that.
The balance. As king, you need to understand that balance and respect all the creatures, from the crawling ant to the leaping antelope. When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we are all connected.
Yeah. I mean, after all, when the predators die, various insects and fungi, start eating the corpse and all that, and also various birds eat the corpse. Scavenger animals eat the corpse. So your birds, beasts, insects, funguses. They eat the corpse, and the corpse rots and all that, and the fungi, turn into dirt and all that, and then from that fertile soil, plants grow out of that fertile soil and all that, and the animals that the lions eat the plants that grow out of the soil that was fertilized by the corpses and all that.
In the great circle of life.
Well, you see, Simba, we must respect the lower class because the lower class provides us with food and power. But one day we will die, and they'll get to scavenge our remains, and that's called trickle-down economics, a theory.
Oh my god, no. 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 Oh my god. Okay, listen, the teaching are not ideal. And the problem with the trickle-down economics is that the elites don't respect that ideal. They're focused on how can we provide. Okay, you know the elite. The reason trickle-down economics doesn't work is that too many of the elites have more in common with Scar than they do Mufasa. Okay, like the elites. Okay, if the CEOs, if the rich were more like a Mufasa, then then the stupidity of Reaganomics wouldn't be stupid; it would work. And unfortunately, too many rich people are like Scar, and as such, Reaganomics doesn't work, and therefore trickle-down economics is a stupid and flawed, economic system. Another, I mean, it's almost as dumb as communism. Now, communism is a little bit dumber than trickle-down economics. But not by a lot, but it is dumber. But man, trickle-down economics is pretty dumb. And all that, because it does not understand human nature well enough, and all that. It does not understand human greed. And it's kind of funny. Reagan is against communism, yet he makes the same mistakes that the communists make, which is underestimating the sheer power of human greed. And this is why there's so much violence and all that, is because there's too many people like Scar and not enough people like Mufasa and all that. Like, see how a Proud Rock suffers under Scar. That's us. Under the current leadership. Because there's too many people that act like that, who don't respect the balance. Okay? Well, congratulations, you've proved that you are not as smart as you think you are. Going good for a while there. But oh man, you dropped the ball. I should have known. I had a feeling that stupidity was going to appear in this video. I had a feeling. I just did not know what kind of stupidity. That's the surprise of this video.
Which makes total sense and definitely works.
But when they die, they become the grass. And we eat the grass, right?
Not exactly. We can't digest grass. We're grass intolerant.
In essence, the Lion King attempts to posit the circle of life as a sort of great equalizer. And this concept makes a lot more sense when animals are animals. Like, you remove the wolves and let the deer take over Yellowstone National Park.
I mean, honest, sure, meerkats, they don't eat the grass, but, they eat bugs, which do eat the grass, so, honestly, I mean, in a way, they, so, yeah.
Animals, like, you remove the wolves and let the deer take over Yellowstone National Park, and you get an overgrazed, uprooted landscape. Ravaged prey populations, and an overpopulation of predators like coyotes.
So it was basically what I said earlier.
Put the wolves back, and the wolves kill the deer. The native foliage grows back. The trees shoot up to shelter the river fish. The berries feed the bears. The beavers make new dams which provide a habitat for animals like ducks and otters and fish. The wolves chase off the coyotes too, which means more mice and rabbits for predators like foxes and weasels and hawks and badgers. The carrion feeders return to follow the wolves on their hunts. The rivers even change course, their tracks secured by a lack of erosion. In the real world, a food chain exists. But even then, there's no perfect circle of life. Lawrence Frank, a research associate at Berkeley.
Well, yeah. The circle of life is definitely an oversimplification, which makes sense since it's a kids' film, a children's movie. I mean, so I guess you could say it's a family film. The adults can enjoy it too. It's a good film. People of all ages can enjoy it, but the intended audience is families. Okay, basically people with children, and children in particular. Okay, it's that's the whole point. It's more supposed to be it's supposed to give an idea and all that, an ideal to strive towards that's applicable to many aspects of life and all that. So, okay, okay. I'm still wondering how this relates to white supremacy. So let's go on. Let's see when the white supremacy enters in.
Who studied lions for over 20 years and hyenas for another 20. Frank, a research associate at Berkeley who studied lions for over 20 years and hyenas for another 20, tells Arthur, there is no balance of nature. There is a constantly shifting relationship between thousands and thousands of species and environmental variables, but there is no single balance or the way it should be. It's one of those situations where, like...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's true. I know that, because, just... Okay, honestly, I honestly don't have the time to get into the complicatedness of all of that, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it's that, okay, it's opening kind of worms here, but yeah, I mean, yeah, climate does change, and, that leads to the changes of environment and all that, and plus, there's also the human impact, and all that, and honestly, a big reason why there is no balance in nature has to do with human behavior, because humanity, we are the kings here. Or rather, the stewards actually would be more appropriate. We're not the kings, we are the stewards. Okay, our duty is to be stewards of the earth, and yet we are very bad at, at being stewards, and that our stewardship is lackluster. We act more like tyrants than stewards and and good benevolent rulers. We don't act like that. We act as selfish tyrants, and that is the real trickle down effect. Because sure, wealth may not trickle down, but what does trickle down is sin, wickedness, evil. That is what trickles down. Okay, that is what upsets the balance, and that's why, the ecosystems are constantly shifting and all that. And that's what leads to the chaos and suffering and all that. It's the destruction of the balance and all that, because, one party is not being responsible. He's obviously a very important party, and that has a bunch of ripple effects throughout the whole thing. I mean, the problem when everything's connected is that if one thing doesn't work, it all falls apart. Yeah.
Yes, the circle of life makes sense from a more general standpoint. We can acknowledge that when predators die, A lot of animals will eat their bodies as carrion or the grass that sprouts from their remains. And of course, I don't mean to suggest we as a species can shrug our shoulders and demolish entire ecosystems for fossil fuel because nature changes all the time. I mean to say, hierarchical structures naturally evolve as part of a balanced ecosystem, yes. But the theory of ecological balance is much more complicated than every animal gets one specific fixed role, and when they stray from that role, they destroy the entire ecosystem. But I've gotten up.
Yeah. So yeah. The way the film portrays it is somewhat simplified, but it is true. There is truth in that. When one party doesn't, it either isn't present or does its job incorrectly, that does lead to damage to the ecosystem. Like, there's not just one specific duty. There's many duties and roles that a species has in an ecosystem. Okay, I just gotta wonder, what does this have to do with white supremacy? You said this was somehow connected to white supremacy. Where is it? Where are we going? I need to shut up and just play the video. That's what needs to be done.
Off track, because that's what we do on this channel. We take the path most feral, and then we cross our fingers and hope we don't give ourselves an aneurysm before we get to the point.
We get there when we get there.
Here's the thing.
I feel this is responding to me almost. Oh my god, I mean, sure, I get it, I ramble too, I talk in circles, I repeat myself in different ways.
Let's say the circle of life functioned as cleanly as advertised. Let's say certain animals fulfill certain roles, and that chain of rules links together to form an endless circle, and when the chain breaks down, the natural world falls into chaos. Shit still gets complicated when you consider the fact that perhaps with the exception of bugs, all the animals of the Lion King world possess human levels of intelligence. The animals behave like humans, too. They hold jobs as advisors. They stage elaborate coups. They get married.
One day you...
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think it... What? Oh my god, I feel like I'm too mature. I've reached the age where overanalyzing a children's movie doesn't have the appeal anymore to me. I think I'm too mature for this video. I've outgrown what this type of video. I'm not this video's target demographic anymore. This video is making me tired.
You two are going to be married.
Yeah.
They philosophize on the nature of life and death. Dan Hassler Forrest, a professor of media studies and English literature from Utrecht University in the Netherlands, tells CBC Radio, "It's not about lions. It's a fable in which animals perform roles that we associate with human social structures. So it paints a picture of a society in which power is defined biologically and in which the weak have learned to worship at the feet of the powerful. And the only way for the herbivores to survive in this world is to become the servants and friends of the powerful." In his article for...
I'm just so tired. Oh my god, oh my god, ow. Fuck. Two-parter, let's do a two-parter, okay, let's do that again. Sure that, it has worked out in the past for me, hasn't it? Oh, God, I just need to take a break. Good. Okay, yeah, yeah, let's take a break. Taking a break. God, okay, I know, I think I would rather watch a video about this, the war in Sudan now instead, because that's a lot simpler than this. Geopolitics is simpler than this. I can understand geopolitics more than I can understand this video. I don't think that's a good sign. Geopolitics, if it's easier to understand geopolitics than it is to understand your video, I don't think I don't think this is a good video. Okay. I wonder, is this what the average college lecture is like? Because if it is, I feel sorry for all the people who have to experience this. You know, actually, maybe I'm overreacting. This is not a college lecture. No. College lectures are made by professors, professionals at getting their points and ideas across. This is not a college lecture. This is a student essay made by a college student. This is the type of essay a college student would write and give to the professor, and the professor would give them like a C or maybe a B on all that. Not an A plus essay. It's a passing grade essay, but still, it's still just a student essay made by a student, not a professor, just a student. Yeah, I guess this just proves I can never be the next Charlie Cook. That's for certain. People worry that I might end up like Charlie Cook. Don't worry. I'm not gonna end up like him, because I do not. I do not have what it takes to be a guess master debater or whatever you'd call whatever the people like him do. It's just people who debate and then post videos of those debates on the internet and get. I'm not gonna talk anymore. Let's just stop. Let's take a break now.